we will take up AHIMSA. Ashtanga Yoga we finished.
Shloka 30th
28.
Ahimsa was it the next steps?
AHIMSA.
Ahimsa was it the next steps?
Ahimsa Pratyamasti we have to take now. And so up to the 30th shloka. Shambho Mahadeva Mahadeva. This Raja Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, it's also known as Raja Yoga because it is connected with Rajasic also, connected with Raja Yoga, Raja Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. Now in this what happens is that these are all based on Manusmriti. Because these are meant for this yoga. Is meant, actually any yoga for that matter, is meant for the Grihasthashramis in order to follow it, so that along with the proper maintaining of Grihastha, he can also prepare himself towards the Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. So that is why you will find in Ashtanga Yoga most of the human characteristics have been brought out. That's why 7 yogas. In earlier one of the shloka we said Tasya Saptada Pranta Bhumihi Madhyam, we said. So about 7 yoga. That means out of the 7s, because the 8th one is Samadhi. In order to reach the status of Samadhi, these 7 yogas are required. So in that Samadhi doesn't include in this Sapta. So these 7 yogas are according to Manusmriti. Manusmriti is basically meant for the rules and regulations of the Grihasthashramis to follow, so that he can attain the true status of the sannyasa at the end of his life. During the process of his Grihastha, he has to follow this Yama Niyama, Asana Pranayama, Dharana and Dhyanam. He has to follow this. Then he reaches the status of Samadhi during the Vanaprastha status. So he can attain that. After that it becomes Sannyasa Yoga. That comes into different part. That doesn't come in the Raja Yoga. That's why this is known as Raja Yoga. So the basic principle has to be understood like this. So following this, what happens? By following this Saptanga Yoga, out of this Ashtanga, Saptanga Yoga, one gains the absolute purity to attain the Samadhi. Samadhi can be attained only at the stage of the absolute purity. What is absolute purity? It's nothing. To say it is very simple. Words. Absolute purity is what? Nissanga bhava. Absolute purity. Nissanga bhava. One word, that's good enough, no? Very simple. Nissangatvata. In anything, nissangatvata. So when there is no sangatvata anywhere, the purity remains. When there is no adulteration, purity is said. Sangam is purity, adulteration. Nisangatva is said, non-attachment, non-desirous, non-attachment. So Nisangatva is that purity. So to attain Nisangatva, why we have to have this Nisangatva is a question asked. Because we have been born in this universe and the world, as we explained in the previous one of the chapters, that the Jivatma has been in order, he has been born, taken birth in the form of the Sharira and Mana in this world, for him to experiment and experience the divinity in him through the association of the Prakriti, Swabhava of the Prakriti. That's why the dependence of the Prakriti is necessary for the Atma for purifying himself and gaining the status of the Samadhi. Is that what we have to, one of the shlokas I remember we have. This is the purpose of, when we said that why the prana, why the Jivatma has to take a birth, is why we have explained this. So in order to prove the divinity. So in order to prove the divinity, one has to pass through the characteristics of the Sharira, characteristics of the Prakriti, characteristics of the Panchabhutas, and then purify himself, then attain the status of the Prana and status of the Jivatma is the person. So this is what is happening. That's why I said this is meant for those who are in the Grihasthashrama. Those who are in the Grihasthashrama means who is born in the world, that's all. Grihastha means don't make a literal meaning of the one who is living with the family. Naturally everybody has a family, whether because he is every human being, every jiva or everything has come from the parents. Even the trees and plants also have come from their parents. The seeds have come from their parents. So that is why Grihasthashrama, the name Grihasthashrama, that means anybody and everybody is in Grihasthashrama only. It's not necessary one has to have children, one has to have married, one has to have this, no, it's not like that. Each and every Jivatma is in Grihasthashrama. Grihastha ashram means staying in its own house and experiencing the Mahatva or the status of the self and getting mukti or moksha or liberation from the karmas that has to be executed in the status of Grihasthashrama, so that he can rise above the Grihasthashrama and attain the status of the Samadhi and the Atma or the Brahman. Is why the experiencing in the Grihasthashrama is necessary. Unless, in order to identify the divinity of the Atma, this process of going, because they are here, the purification has to be done. It is like, suppose you take one absolutely good gold to the goldsmith. To ascertain his gold, okay, there are so many other methods, but the right way of ascertaining is that he has to exactly go through the same process of making an ornament with any other gold. Even though this is pure, he knows. He will have to melt it, he will have to beat it, he will have to make it into this and then test. Then ultimately, then only he will find that this is good gold. Even though the Atma is good and pure, but when it comes in association, with the Prakriti, the tests have to be gone through. Then only the proving of the divinity can be done. Why it is born is that to prove the divinity. In order to understand the purity from a material or from a matter, the tests and procedures have to go through it. That's why this. So we should be very clear. What is this Ashtanga Yoga? It is not meant for any sannyasis. It is meant for the normal human being. In the sense, Grihasthashramis is what I said. Then only he can. That's why it's known as Raja Yoga. That's why it is known as Ashtanga, because there are 8 parts, so Ashtanga. 7 anga. Saptanga is the right, and Samadhi. It is not a. It's not a yoga which can be practiced. One reaches that status. The other 7 are practiced and have to be understood. So Ahimsa, what is the Yama? So there we started with the Yama. Even though it's a repeat from our old, we have already explained about Ashtanga Yoga. What is it? Yoga Sutras. But again, let us just browse through. Ahimsa Satyamasteyam Brahmacharya Parigraha Yamaha. This is known as Yamaha. So Ahimsa. Ahimsa is that. The literal meaning is that non-injury. The English meaning can be so only that non-injury. Ahimsa. Himsa. Himsa is not only reaching a physical injury, it's also mental injury. Is it not? So, injury need not be only for physical body. It can be the mind also. It can be to anything. What is that injury? What is that ahimsa? What is that himsa? What are we doing himsa? What one does the himsa to? Is everything called, every destruction is called as himsa? No. Must understand very clearly. Is every destruction is called himsa? It is not. If there is an asura which is creating calamities in the universe, like we have seen a lot of Puranas we have gone through, Maharishis and Tapasvis have massacred thousands of Asuric Shaktis because they had been obstructing the Yajna, Yaga and the good karmas that the Tapasvis and Jnanis are doing for the purpose of the benefit of the humanity. Why the Tapasvis and Jnanis keep on doing the Yajna and Yoga? Not only for their benefit, they have already achieved the benefit. They are doing yoga and every day the Yajna and Yoga for the benefit of the humanity, for the benefit of the world. Let there be peace, let there be this, let there be that. See, that's how Rajas used to call great Maharishis and Tapasvis do Ashwamedha Yagam or Putra Yagam, and many other yagas are being done by the Maharishis. They are not the receivers of the benefit of it. Yes, that's why in a yajna, there is, or in a puja or in a yajna, there will be always a yajamana. Maharshi doesn't want anything from that. He is absolutely not attached with that. He is doing for the benefit of the person who wants to have a benefit out of it. So he will keep the yajamana on behalf of him. I am doing this. This is what he does. What is his name? Okay. Manish. Okay, got it. So, So each and every yajna is himsa. So in the yajna, what happens for the benefit of the humanity? Himsa is what? Himsa is actually, it's not literally meaning that non-injury in the sense. The non-injury, who should be injured? Who should be destroyed? Who should not be destroyed? This is a great study. So then only we will exactly know what is called the AHIMSA. It's not a very small word of knowing that non-injury. But for Grihastha Ashramis, a non-injury has been specified. AHIMSA has been specified. Do not disturb others. Do not kill anything. No. They have vetoed the power of meaning of AHIMSA in this Smriti here. And they told a Grihastha Ashrami, don't do any kind of himsa. But I am saying here, everything is not himsa. Certain himsa has to be done. Certain himsa, it's not himsa. Certain destruction has to be done, that should not be called as himsa. But for a Grihastha Ashrami, this option has not been given. He has been told not to injure others. That's all. Let it be a tree, let it be a plant, let it be an animal, let it be a human being. Let him be a bad man, let him be a good man. Ahimsa, a common word has been used. Ahimsa is what generally people made the others understand. This was necessary for them to make the people understand. But we are trying to, because we have been learning the Upanishads, so we would like to go into the Vedic and Upanishadic approach to Ahimsa. Not a literal meaning of Ahimsa. Literal meaning anybody knows. Class 1 child knows. Ahimsa, usko pucho, he will tell. Not to pinch the other boy sitting by the side is called Ahimsa for him. Finished, that's all. Not to disturb the other person. Not to disturb the parents, not to disturb. We all know that. For that great Shastra is not required. Right? So when it has been put here, Ahimsa as a word in the great Shastras of Ashtanga, yoga, a great yoga, in a yoga, that means it is not that simple. It's not. For those simplicities, those things we need not to put here. Yes, one of those in Yama, beginning with Yama. Is that what you have to observe? Is that Yama? So Ahimsa, what should not be attempted in the list of Ahimsa is what one has to understand. Now here, when we talk about Ahimsa, unless a person has got a discriminative power, an absolute discriminative power, that means a discriminative cognizance, we talked about it some time back. That discriminative cognizance has to be there in a person. For that person who has reached that level of power of discrimination. A normal human being doesn't have the power of discrimination. Is why there is trouble, there is kashta, there is dukkha. There are problems in life is why? Because there is no power of discrimination. Whatever my ego said that has to be fulfilled is our discrimination. Is it not? We also say that. Don't you have any discrimination for this? In a common conversation, we always say that. What is that discrimination? That discrimination is only based on your emotional discriminations. Egoistic emotional discriminations are that what we know about. The discrimination is based on the truth. The discrimination of cognizance, identification or recognition is for the truth, for that Brahman, for that Prakriti, for the Brahma Sakshatkara, for the Brahma Jnana. That what is there in the existence, in the Prakriti, in a true sense. We always say that everything is there in the Panchabhutas, everything is there in the Prakriti. But this everything, including poison, including lies, including truth, including this, that, everything is there in the Prakriti. There is nothing which is not there in the Prakriti. There are atrocities in the Prakriti, there is murder in the Prakriti, there are lies in the Prakriti, there is Ninda in the Prakriti, everything is in there. How? Like in the milk there is water. How the swan identifies the water, separates the water from the milk. This way we have to identify the power of discrimination is meant for discriminating the truth from the false. Or in the Prakriti, when I say that everything is, I go into little detail because that will be effective for all the subjects whatever I am talking, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, for everything this will be the basis. So only here we will go into little detail which I have not explained there. Why? Because then at that point of time, one's maturity and one's level of understanding was only reaching to a certain kind of himsa. I have told there, if I remember correct, in the Ashtanga Yoga, himsa is not only for others, himsa to self is very important. Ahimsa to self is very important. Whenever we are doing a himsa to the others, the greater part of himsa, more than the other person, the one who is doing is the one who is undergoing. The pain and the agony the other person is undergoing, or the other animal is undergoing, more than that, his Jivatma undergoes whenever a himsa is done. The pain, even though they kill something, they destroy something, but if that is that which is not to be destroyed, that which is not to be killed when it is done, without it, unjust is created, the pain inside the subconscious mind in us, in the person who does that, will be inherent and he will be feeling it, he will be punishing himself for that. There are so many psychologists on this subject. As you know, it's a very old book of the Russian novel, you must be knowing, Karamazov's Crime and Punishment. I have told this so many times, about the crime and punishment. The crime, what he did was killing a lady who pawns gives money on that. And this man, he goes and kills her and takes the money out. Nobody knows about it. And the whole book is, after that, these are the first few chapters where he goes and kills the lady, old lady, and takes the money, that's all. After that, his own punishment to himself. Nobody knows, no police, no man, nobody knows he has killed. And there is no proof, there is no identification, nothing. But each and every step of his life, he is miserable. He undergoes that experience. You should read that. It's a very frustrating book to read, of course, in case. Very old one if you get it. It's so frustrating. Once you won't read completely, because you will get so frustrated that a man will go, if somebody has got a weak mind, he will go off that. So bad it is. That means that person who has written has undergone the mental condition of a person who undergoes this ahimsa. The true teaching of ahimsa I am talking about, that's right. Himsa to himself, you see. There was no use of his living actually. He was living only to punish himself. Each and every activity he was doing, it was only to punish himself. This is what happens. Many may think that, okay, somebody has given disturbance to the other person, oh, he has become a very intelligent man. No, his subconscious mind, before going to sleep or while sleeping, it will haunt him, not only for one janma, number of janmas he will be on. He will be born only to fulfill that karma. It's called karma bala. So that karma bala, he will be carrying that baggage along with him throughout. Himsa to self, this I have explained in our previous classes of Ashtanga Yoga, Yoga Sutra, where we have specifically mentioned that reaching himsa to the self is not good. That is the worst part of it, first thing. Because from that only the himsa to the others starts. Where this himsa starts from him. Then only he reaches the himsa to the others. The himsa bhavana comes to him based on his desire, based on his jealousy, based on his attachment. Because of his attachment to something is more, so in order to protect that attachment, he does a himsa. Because of his desire for something is more, he reaches a himsa to the others. Is it not? Only for that. Sometimes for an egoistic cause of his own life, his own purpose of things, he reaches himsa to the others. He doesn't know what he is speaking. His intention is only to protect his interest. That means his ego, his desire, his possession, his activity. That's all. In order to protect that egoistic, because he doesn't have a discriminative power there. Only for that purpose, he is ready to reach himsa to the others. Depending upon one's own capacity, if it is a small thief, he reaches himsa to the others only for stealing some small things. If he is a businessman, he reaches himsa to the others by cheating the others. If it is a jnani, for his own egoistic protection and his egoistic upliftment, he cheats the people who are listening to him or who learns from him. He cheats them. That's also a cheating. That's also a himsa. A jnani does it. Very knowledgeable people, they mislead people. They use the knowledge to mislead people. Britishers, when they conquered our country, they misled us from understanding the Vedic science. They appointed Max Muller only for translating the Vedas in a distorted way and publish it among the people so that they will get misled. So in such level, they have been done. So in the ministers' level, they do injustice to others to mislead them. It's a himsa. Instead of doing a himsa, they do himsa, injury to the others. So everybody in their own levels, starting from a small man to the countries, including the nations against each other, they do the himsa by not using the discrimination. So they are all for what? Only for the purpose of protecting their own possession, protecting their own ego, protecting their own egoistic positions, protecting their own attachments, protecting the false values of wealth that he himself has created. For all these purposes, he does the himsa. You understood? These are all himsa. Now the major himsa, what is he doing? It is because of the ignorance that what is he doing. The himsa, beginning of himsa, begins from himself is what I started with. How he started with himself? Because of when I am talking about the principles of this, you should know from where it has started. Just by telling you not to do himsa to the others, even if you understand the meaning of it, you will not be able to do it. Why? Because you have got all the other paraphernalia standing there to make you do it. Unless you do himsa, you will not be able to protect your own possessions, your own ego, your own position, your own wealth, egoistic wealth, your own things. What do you think? Your own means the attachments that you have created. This cannot be protected unless you do the himsa. the act of himsa. So, where the act of himsa starts with, where is it's only a flame, the fire is where? It's only the smoke, but where is the fire? Fire is with all these things. Unless these basic characteristics are not removed, you will not be in a position to exactly act in the status of ahimsa. Am I right? Is it not? That uprooting has to be done. The root will remain, and then externally we try to do ahimsa. The root will again grow at one point of time. Why there are major problems today in the nation? Whether you call it Babri Masjid, whether you call it Ram Temple, whether you call it X, Y. I'm just telling you an example which is there existing. Kashmir place is a problem. There in a larger way, here in a smaller way. There in the whole Kashmir, the state. Here it is only one temple is the cost. And from one temple it will come down to, when it comes to individuals, one individual is the problem. It comes down to that. So when you look at the process of ahimsa, you will find when you take touch